Hello, Booktube. It's Louise, the big head bookworm. Lovely to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well wherever it is you are and whatever it is you're doing. Welcome back to my channel, the big head bookworm. Well, this is my first time recording after uploading my returning video. And wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much to everybody who took the time out of your busy lives, your busy, chaotic, wonderful lives, to spend a little bit of time with me on my corner of the internet. And then those people that actually put comments. Oh my word. When I uploaded the video, I told the husband, I said, I've done it. And he said, well, what do you think? I said, well, at least I think you'll watch it. There may be two others. So you absolutely blew my mind with your kindness and all the lovely comments and the way that you were so willing to share a little bit of your light with me. So thank you so much. It just made this last couple of weeks just glorious. So thank you very much. And also I've uploaded another video which is about my love of Agatha Christie and all the Agatha Christies that I read last year. So, yes, I'm back. And there were some new viewers. Oh, my word. Thank you to Steve Donahue, who gave me a shout out and pointed some people in the way of this channel. And you came along and you've been watching my videos. It's been really lovely. Somebody's working their way through my back catalogue. Apologies. There were some dodgy videos, I'm sure, there. I haven't watched a lot of them for a long time, since they were made. So I do hope you are enjoying it and you're enjoying my channel. That's so lovely. Well, I had to come back. I was like, well, this is it, definitely. The joy of listening to you and reading what you've been saying has just filled me. So yes, welcome. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Louise. I live in the east of England with the husband and our lad, who is a 13-year-old boy. And 3 cats, Miss Molly, Miss Sally and Indy the kitten. And we live in this lovely house, which we share with all our books. So I would say the majority behind me are mine, but there are pockets of the husband's books and the lad's books and everything. We are a house crammed with reading. And of course, I had to buy some books. In the time that I have been away, I have gathered more books and I have a little selection of them. These are probably the more recent ones that I have bought. Majority of them I haven't read, and I thought I would show you those. I'll show you what I'm currently reading. I'll show you what I'm currently listening to in the form of an audiobook, and I will show you the last book that came into the house. And I would love it for you if you would be so kind and tell me what the last book that came into your house was, whether it was a book that you bought or you were lent or you got from the library or you snaffled from somebody else's house, from a friend's house. And I can see the cat wanted to come in. No, you're going to have to use your own door, which is over there. I'm not getting up and letting you in. She's like that. It's Miss Sally looking at me through the window. So yes, I also had a few comments from people who had no idea why there was so much discussion of laundry in the comments and also by Steve Donahue. What was the laundry obsession? I can't remember how it started. But yes, I am a passionate advocate of drying your smalls and your larges outside, letting the breeze ripple the clothes and getting that fresh smell. It is a grey day here in the east of England, chilly and grey. It's one of those days where you just fear you will never see the sun again. It's such a grey day. We've had many of them recently. Last couple of days have been glorious and bright and what have you, but today it is a grey day, so there is no laundry. No laundry to be seen either in my garden or my neighbours' gardens. Of course, the neighbours do not know that I look in their gardens from my bedroom window and see the current state of their laundry. Just one of those things. It's one of the things I like to do. So we are having to utilise radiators, although in here at the moment it is actually bare. But also I have a newfound love in my life, and it is one of those heated airers. I know. A heated airer. I hear you gasp. I did. I actually heard people gasp, what? What is this thing? Well, I'd seen it in a catalogue, because I am the kind of gal that looks at laundry products in catalogues. And yes, it was, for all those people that live in the United Kingdom, it was the Lakeland catalogue, which is a byword for quality when it comes to homeware. I'm sure wherever you live, you have some shop or company that if you say, I got it from insert name, everybody just nods. And you don't have to say anymore. They know that you have been to the best. You have gone to the best. You have gone to the name. So it might be John Lewis. John Lewis would like to sponsor me, that'd be great. But in terms of homeware, kitchenware, it is, of course, Lakeland, which I remember, and I said this to the husband, and he was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you're here for the books, come back in a couple of minutes. We're just gonna talk about this first. We're just gonna get the laundry out of the way. Let me just talk laundry, and then we'll get on to the good stuff, the books. So, Lakeland, I remember from my mum used to get the catalogue, Lakeland, and it was Lakeland Plastics. I know, I don't know why it was called Lakeland Plastics. Obviously they've dropped the plastics part now. And I'm sure a chap used to come round and used to get the catalogue and take her order and then bring it round. And she used to buy like big boxes of cling film, and it was like industrial size cling film. And it was also, but it was the byword. It was everything. The cat is waving at me. No, she's stopping. She's now cleaning herself. Yes, welcome to my videos. Cats, laundry, distraction. I've got a cup of tea, by the way. Have you got a cup of tea? I've got a cup of tea, which I'm going to have a quick. Which has the periodic table on. Oh, yes. That's the kind of place we are. So the husband, I've seen the catalogue, Lakeland Plastics, Lakeland, and I've seen this heated era because, do you know, if you're hanging things up in the house, you can't hang it outside because it's damp and grey. You need to hang those things you can't put in the tumble dryer. What do? Do you put them on radiators? Do you hang them up? It's not a perfect solution. So I had heard of these heated dryers, and you plug them in, you hang the clothes on, and the gentle warmth dries the clothes, but they don't shrink or become distorted. And so it is kind of a combination of, it's kind of the best of all worlds that it can possibly be. So I sent the husband off to Lakeland, and it's also a place where you're going to get advice. And he got advice from a fellow customer who saw him gazing at which heated airdryer to buy and said, get that one, and I recommend a hood to go over it. And so he did, which doesn't come with, you had to buy. So you hang it on, the heated airdryer, and then you zip its own little jacket over it. It's called a dry soon. Dry soonish is now known in my house. Not dry soon, it's dry soonish. Dry in the coming days. But you put it on, plug it on, much cheaper than a tumble dryer, much more reliable than hanging it out on a damp day. And they dry. And I have to say, it has revolutionised drying things like my son's hoodies or jogging bottoms, or those kind of like heavy jersey items that take time, you know, and that can start to smell if you leave them out too long in the damp. They get that smell. Anyway, so we've got that is our new member of the family. I am actually gazing adoringly at it at this moment. It's right over there. It's great. It's naked at the moment. It hasn't got its hood on it. But yes, well, I find myself, I'd put it on, put the stuff on, leave it overnight to just gently warm, and in the morning, most clothes are dry. It has, it's brilliant. I am a walking advert for a heated airdryer. Anyway, that is not why you are here. Grab yourself a lovely beverage of your choice. Checks to see how long she's been talking about laundry, far too long. Has a quick slurp, shows you the new books. Can I remember what they're all about? No. But will I be enthusiastic? Yes I will. So my current read is still Murder on Cold Street, or had I started this? Oh, I don't remember. Murder on Cold Street by Sherry Thomas. It is the fifth in the Lady Sherlock series. It's lovely, it's brilliant. I have to say, I think it is one of my favourites that she has done out of the 5. I'm thinking this is really good. The actual mystery is top, as well as the yearning and the longing. There is much yearning, much longing, and I'm really just enjoying it. So that's Murder on Cold Street. I'll put you there. What am I listening to? I'm listening to the January pick for the Read Christie 2022, or I think it's just Read Christie 22, I don't know. And it is, oh, that's not gonna show. Oh, there we go. I don't like that. I use that hand. Use that hand, please. There we go. It is, oh, I still don't think you can read it. Actually, how can I? The Man in the Brown Suit by Agatha Christie, which is a standalone mystery by Agatha Christie. It doesn't feature any of her fabled Miss Marple or Hercule Poirot or Tommy and Tuppence. It does actually, it is the first book that introduces us to Colonel Race. But he's a kind of a character that pops up, but he is in this, and I have to say, I don't remember it. I'm sure I've read it. I'm sure I read it back in the day, but I don't remember it. So this is joyous. It's like I'm finally found an Agatha Christie that I haven't read in a long, long, long time. So it's The Man in the Brown Suit. I'm listening to that, and that is the January pick for the Read Christie 22. And then the last book that came into the house, which will be actually my next read, is also a book club book. It's Christopher Berry-Dee's Talking with Serial Killers, Sleeping with Psychopaths, a chilling study of the innocent lovers of savage murderers. That's what this is. So I follow CrimeCon UK on Instagram, which is the only social media that I'm on, really, to be honest. I'm not interested in the Twitters or the Facebooks or anything like that. But I do quite like Instagram, although I'm going off it a bit. But anyway, this is, and they've started a book club. I don't know whether they did it last year. So CrimeCon UK is where they do a crime convention. Is that what CrimeCon's? Yeah, crime convention, and I think it's in July this year. And they have authors, and they have detectives, and they have people connected to the true crime genre world thing. Words. Come along, and they do talks, and they do panels, and podcasters are there, and it's all brilliant. I'm going to do a separate video on all my latest true crime reads, what I've read recently, what I've been into recently, what I've watched recently. I really enjoy that genre, and I have read quite a lot recently in the last year or so. So I'll share that with you on a different video. So, but this is the January book. It came out in January, and it's heavily reduced on Amazon. So I thought, do you know, I'm going to do it. I'm going to give it a go. I've not read anything by Christopher Berry-Dee, and looking at it, he's written loads. He's written loads, even in this series. And I did realise that I have seen the book Talking with Serial Killers, and I didn't kind of connect the dots that it was him. Cat is now scratching on the window. No. Okay, give me a moment. I'll be back in a second. I do think this is quite rude. You have your own door. Yeah, same to you. Sorry about that. Soz. She's now looking at me like that. So, yes, Talking with Serial Killers, Sleeping with Psychopaths. It is all about the partners, lovers, wives, husbands of, people that have done horrible things. So, yes. Let's move on. I went to The Works, which is a discount craft book cards chain within the UK. I don't know if it's in Scotland or Wales, but I know it's in England. And they have a good variety of books. You can get kind of craft books and cookery books, and they buy them as a job lot and spread them out. So it's that kind of thing. So you get 3 for £5. And if I spot 2 that I fancy, then I always, well, not always, but I quite often treat myself. Probably once, twice a year, I go into the Works for something, and I see 2 books that I want, and so I pick a third, and I treat myself. So this was the first book that I saw that I wanted. It's Winterkeep by Kristin Cashore. Kristin. And this is the 4th book, which starts with the Graceling. So it is YA fantasy, and it starts with the Graceling, and then you get fire, and then you get bitter blue. And this is the fourth, and it's a fantasy world, and the Graceling, which I read. Is it in here somewhere? It probably is. It's probably over there, actually. I read quite a few years ago and thoroughly enjoyed. Thought it was a great YA book. Fire, I borrowed from a friend, and I borrowed Bitter Blue from a friend. Fire was good. Bitter Blue was okay. So, but I'm interested in carrying on with the series, and I saw this lovely edition, and I thought, gotta have that. I also saw The Diabolical Bones by Bella Ellis, and it was the tagline, I think the Bronte sisters would have been delighted. I was like, do what? And this is 1845, Haworth is in the grip of a freezing winter. Charlotte, Emily and Anne, the Bronte sisters, are rather losing interest in detecting until they hear of a shocking discovery. So it is the Bronte sisters, the writers, the brilliantness of the Bronte sisters as reimagined as sleuths. So I thought that sounds brilliant, and it's not too thick. Hello, shout out for books that aren't 700 pages long. How long is this? Oh, it's kind of about 320, 330 pages long. So I thought that sounded excellent. And then the last book I picked up a crime book, and it's David Fennell. Know nothing about this. The Art of Death. He is creating a masterpiece, and she will be the star of his show. Honestly, no, nothing. It's a crime book. It looks like that. Picked it up. Thought, give it a go. I'll let you know what it's like. I picked this up in the summer. The Widows of Malabar Hill by Sujata Massey. Sujata Massey. It's a mystery of 1920s India, the deluxe edition, no less. I have actually started it, and I got quite far the way through, and I can't remember why I stopped, but I will go back to it because I was enjoying it. India 1921. It's set in. Well, if that doesn't sound brilliant, I don't know what does. I picked this up in a second-hand bookshop. The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. This is a YA kind of fantasy. Is it urban fantasy or fantasy? The year is 2059. 19-year-old Paige Mahoney is working in the criminal underworld of Scion, London, based at Seven Dials, employed by a man named Jackson Hall, and so on. It used to be really popular, this book and this entire series, and I always quite fancied it, and then I thought, I'll give it a go. It was, how much was it? It was £2. It's a nice big trade paperback. I thought, let's go for it. Bit of romance I've picked up along the way by Helen Hoang. The Heart Principle. I have read her other books, her other romance books, The Kiss Quotient and The Bride Test. I have got both of those on my Kindle. I really enjoyed them. They're just such great. They are adult romances. There is a bit of fruitiness in there, bit of sauce. Oh yes, for those of us that like a little bit of a frisson, well actually more of a frisson actually, a whole slew of emotions in those. I really enjoyed both of them. They are lovely romances, modern contemporary romances with modern contemporary people in them, with and they come from a more diverse background, so it's good. The Heart Principle. I haven't read it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. The House on the in the Cerulean Sea. It's a lovely American floppy paperback fantasy. V.E. Schwab loved it apparently, so it was like being wrapped in a big gay blanket. Simply perfect. Who doesn't want that? By T.J. Klune. Very popular on Booktube. Do you know, I kind of bought it because of its cover. Do you know, that's a very nice bookmark I have in there by the novel Menagerie, who is actually a YouTuber under Literary Diversions, and she is brilliant. And I did know it was her when I was talking about it last time. But yes, that's for her. Dark Academia bookmark that I have from there. So that's in there, ready for me to read it. Fantasy book. It's a tour. So what's that? That's YA as well. I'm not hugely into YA, or not into YA. I would never read YA romance no. And I wouldn't read YA contemporary. I have read a few in my time, and I'm just not the target audience. They're not for me. They're not for me. They are for many other people, both for people that are in that. No, you can't come in either. I've got another cat yowling. Use your door. Let's carry on before I get too distracted. So yes, I do read YA. I kind of like YA fantasy more than I like anything else, and I quite often pick it up and then realise it's YA fantasy afterwards. This is another book with a bookmark in. I think I've read the introduction to this, but I haven't read any further. This was bought for me by the husband. The Haunting of Alma Fielding, a true ghost story by Kate Summerscale. We bought this from Barter Books. Do that, there we go. Which is in Alnwick Station in Northumberland. We went to Northumberland. Yes, we did. Late last year. Got a cat meowing at me. And we really enjoyed it. We went and it was lovely. We'd never been up to Northumberland. We went to Alnwick. We went to Barter Books, and the husband bought me this because I really wanted it. It's a big second-hand bookshop. It's huge. It's set in the station. I hope to go up there again, and if I go up there again, I will take you with me because it was just a delightful place to go. And we got this book, which came out. Melissa Harrison, The Stubborn Light of Things, A Nature Diary. This begins... Okay. Moving from scrappy London verges to ancient rural Suffolk, this diary, compiled from Melissa Harrison's beloved nature notebook column in The Times, maps her joyful engagement with the natural world and demonstrates how we must first learn to see, then act to preserve the beauty that we have on our doorsteps, no matter where we live. So it's a nature diary, so it's episcopal. I started to read it. I was actually trying to read it at the right time of the year. And actually, I've just seen the next one would be December, so I would be able to kind of try and catch up with it. I have started to read this. I've got 50 pages in. And I wasn't going to just sit down and read it. I wanted to kind of space it out, and so I need to pick that back up. This is a book called Breath, The Science of a Lost Art by James Nestor. It's all about breathing and how we breathe and why we breathe. Well, we know why we breathe, but how we breathe and why we breathe and the different ways of breathing. And it's kind of... In Breath, journalist James Nestor travels the world to discover the hidden science behind the ancient breathing practices, discovering that if we make even a slight adjustments to the way we inhale and exhale, we can revolutionise our life. This is James Nestor. Who doesn't like a book about breathing? The Vine Witch by Luanne G. Smith. It's a witchy read. I haven't read it yet. I have nothing more to say about that. This is a book that I got for Christmas from my beloved boy. The Electricity of Every Living Thing. A Woman's Walk in the Wild to Find Her Way Home by Katherine May. So... It's a lady, Katherine May. It's about walking the Southwest Coast path, which, if you read The Salt Path by Ray Wynne, I love anything about Cornwall. Passionate about the county of Cornwall, like anything about people walking the Southwest Coast path. I've walked sections of it myself. I'm in no way in the grand scheme of things. I've done tiny little droplets of it. And this is about her walk. She gets an adult diagnosis of Asperger's syndrome, which is quite common for ladies to get a diagnosis nowadays, to get a diagnosis when they're older rather than when they're younger. And so it's exploring how she comes to terms with that and the walk, and how the walk impacts her understanding of herself and nature and everything else. I gather. I haven't read it yet. I only got it for Christmas. It was on my wish list. I wanted it. Let's straighten that book. Stand up. This was not something I got for Christmas. This was something I got. The Black Rose of Florence. It is a Italian crime by Michelle Gutierrez, I'm going to say. Have not read anything by Michelle Gutierrez, but it looks fabulous. The Village last year, I won't say kind of July time, did a kind of, everybody, you could put it out on Facebook over one Saturday morning if you were going to have a little, like a what's it called, a yard sale. So it was a yard sale organised to go around the village, and we hadn't long moved into the village, and I said to the husband, this is a great way for us to walk around the village, say hello to people, and maybe pick up one or two little things. And of course I had to pick up a book, so I picked up the Black Rose of Florence from a very nice house at the top of the village, and they were very friendly. I think it was organised people that were part of the preschool, so there was lots and lots and lots of baby stuff out and about, but it was just nice anyway to go along and say hi to people. What a way to introduce ourselves and get the village to introduce itself to us. So it was lovely. It was a really lovely morning. The husband and I spent about an hour and a half. It was a beautiful day. We wandered around the village and I picked up a book. I know nothing about it, absolutely nothing about it. This is what they say. The Black Rose of Florence is at once a masterpiece of detective fiction and a stunning evocation of the beauty and the darkness of the life in Florence. Written by former Florentine police chief, wow, Michelle, or maybe it's not Michelle, maybe it's Michael. Could be Michael, I don't know. Gutierrez has been a huge bestseller in Italy and across Europe. Well, that's got to be given a go, isn't it? That doesn't sound good. Last three, my word, haven't you done well? Last three, first, I got these glorious editions of Dorothy L. Sayers' Lord Peter Wimsey books in my secret Santa at work. I said I like Dorothy L. Sayers. I've only got a couple of hers, and my glorious secret Santa person bought me these two. Clouds of Witness, a Lord Peter Wimsey series, and The Nine Tailors. Both introduced. I hadn't read either of them. Dorothy L. Sayers is widely regarded as one of the greatest writers of the golden age of British crime fiction. So these are set in the 1920s. Well, actually written and set in the 1920s. So those are those two. Last one. Cannot remember why I wanted to read this, but I did want to read it. It's a fantasy book. It's by Robert Jackson Bennett. It's called Foundryside, and it's the Founders Trilogy, Book 1. It's fantasy. Sci-fi fantasy? Or just fantasy? I don't know. Bennett will leave you in awe once you remember to breathe. So, there we are. Got the breath book to remind me to breathe, and I've got this one to take my breath away. I have read City of Stars by Robert Jackson Bennett, and I read the first of that series and then carry on with it. Can't remember why. I saw this somewhere. I saw either somebody talking about it or somebody reading it. Somewhere they mentioned it. I put it on my wish list. It was bought. Cat is yowling at me. And that's it. There we go. That is my stack of books. That's going to be my next book that I should read, and then I will wibble my way through some. I've actually read a couple of those, and I will talk about them at some other time, because the video's long enough as it is. So there we go, friends. There we go. This has been brilliant. Thank you so much. And if you managed to stay to the end, wow. Thank you, Indy. If you managed to stay to the end, that's been absolutely wonderful. I hope you've enjoyed the video. And yeah, look forward to seeing you in the next one. This has been great, Booktube. Let's do it together.